Audio log personal statement, July 18th, 2018. Location Interstate 40, Southern United States. Recorder CH, long-haul truck driver. If you're listening to this, it means I've finally decided to stop pretending it didn't happen. I've been driving trucks for almost 20 years. Reefer units, dry vans, flatbeds, coast to coast. Nights, storms, deadlines that don't care if you're tired or not. You learn patterns, learn people, learn what belongs on the road and what doesn't. And you learn this rule fast. If something feels wrong in your cab, it probably is. I broke that rule on July 18th, 2018. I was running a long-haul estate eastbound on L40, electronic shipment, high value, tight delivery window. I'd already burnt through most of my drive time and pulled into a rest area just past midnight. Place was half lit, cameras broken or fake. One other truck driver idling at the far end, like it didn't want company. I did my walk around. Tires, seals, locks, everything checked out. I didn't check the cab. That's the mistake that changed everything. I climbed in, locked up, and pulled back onto the highway. The road was empty, black ribbon, stretching into nothing. I'd gone maybe 10 miles when I heard it. A sound behind me. Soft fabric shifting, like someone adjusting their weight. I told myself it was the fright settling. Reefer noise, my own breathing amplified by exhaustion. Then I heard a cough. Not loud, not accidental, intentional. I reached for the interior light, and before I could flip it, he spoke. Don't. His voice came from the sleeper, close enough that I felt it in my neck. I froze, hands locked on the wheel, truck drifting just enough to hit the rumble strip and snap me back into focus. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might black out. He told me to keep driving. Said it calmly, like he was asking me to change lanes. I asked who he was. He laughed. Quiet, dry. Said names didn't matter anymore. Then he slid forward just enough for me to see him in the mirror. Bare feet, dirty, dried blood on one ankle. Eyes wide and bright like he hadn't slept in days. Or maybe like he'd slept too well. He had a knife. Not a big one. Didn't need to be. He told me he'd climbed in while I was checking my tires. Said drivers were predictable. Said I took longer on the left side. He said that he'd been watching. That's when I realized how quiet the road was. No cars. No lights. Just us and the hum of the engine. He told me where we were going. Not a city, not an address. A mile marker. Said when we got close he'd tell me where to turn. I thought about hitting the brakes. Jackknifing. Anything to draw attention. He leaned forward and pressed the knife against the seat. Right near my ribs. Left a mark. Said if I wrecked the truck, he'd finish what the impact started. So I drove. For hours. He talked the whole time. Not rambling. Measured. Told me pieces of things. Jail. A fight. Someone who didn't deserve mercy. He never said his crime. But he didn't have to. You could hear it in how comfortable he was with the silence afterward. Every time the headlights appeared behind us, he'd tense. Every time they passed, he'd relax. He knew the road. New exits I'd never used. Service roads. Old way stations. Places where cameras didn't reach. Around 4 a.m, he told me to take an exit. I knew was closed. Barricades pushed aside just enough for a truck to slip through. That's when I decided I wasn't making it out clean. We turned into a dirt road that shook the cab. Trees closed in. No signal. No lights. just dust and insects hitting the windshield like rain. He told me to stop. I did. He told me to get out. I told him no. That's when he cut me. Quick, across the forearm. Not deep, but deliberate. Blood soaked into my sleeve instantly. He said the next one would be worse, so I opened the door. The air outside was thick and wet, smelled like rotten soil. He climbed down behind me, knife still out, and told me to walk towards the trees. I took 3 steps. Then I did the dumbest, bravest thing I've ever done. I ran. I don't know why he hesitated. Maybe he thought I wouldn't. Maybe he didn't expect a man my size to move that fast. I heard him shout, felt the blade catch my shoulder as I twisted away. Hot pain, white sparks. I kept running, tripped, fell, rolled into the mud and leaves. I heard him crashing behind me, breathing hard now, anger leaking through that calm. Then, headlights. Another truck, by chance, by miracle. I screamed, waved my arms, fell into the road. The other driver slammed his brakes and laid on the horn. I don't remember much after that. The man ran, into the trees, gone. Police came, search teams, dogs, nothing. They told me he was probably never meant to let me live. They told me I was lucky. I didn't feel very lucky. I've got a scar on my shoulder that tightens when it rains. A thin white line down my arm where the blade kissed me just enough to remind me every day. But the real scar's in my head. I check my cab 3 times now, sometimes 4. I don't sleep easy. Every sound behind me feels like a breath waiting to speak. I still drive. Don't know how not to. So if you're a driver, new or seasoned, listen to me. Check your cab. Lock everything. Trust the feeling that tells you something's wrong. Because the road doesn't care how experienced you are. And sometimes the most dangerous cargo isn't on your manifest. It's already waiting behind you. I took 2 weeks off after that. Company called it medical leave. I took 2 weeks off after that. Company called it medical leave. Said I was lucky the freight wasn't damaged. Nobody asked how it felt to sit still. The first night back home, I slept on the couch with the lights on. Every time the house settled, I woke up, reaching for a knife that wasn't there. I'd feel around behind me, half expecting fabric to shift, breath to touch my neck. My wife tried to understand. She traced the scar on my arm with her finger, like it was something she could smooth out if she tried hard enough. I didn't tell her everything. I couldn't explain what it's like to be trapped in motion, knowing the man behind you is deciding whether you're useful or disposable. That's not something you forget. The doctor stitched me out and said the cut was shallow, clean. You healed fast, he said. I wanted to tell him healing isn't the same as recovery. I still flinch when someone knocks on my cab door at a rest stop. I still park under lights even if it means walking farther to the bathrooms. I stopped sleeping in unfamiliar lots, stopped helping stranded motorists, stopped cracking the window when someone asks for directions. I hate that part the most. Because the road used to feel like freedom, now it feels like a narrow hallway with no exits. Every so often I'll hear about another driver assaulted, another stowaway, another body found near a highway miles from where they vanished. No name, no connection proven. But I think about him. I think about how calm he was, how prepared, how easily he blended into the gaps we don't bother watching. And I know this wasn't his first truck. It won't be his last. So I'm recording this for the drivers who still think experience makes you immune. For the ones who rush inspections because they're tired. For the ones that tell themselves nothing ever happens to me. That's what I told myself. The scar on my shoulder is small, easy to miss. but it pulls tight every time I climb into the cab, like my body remembers before my mind does. It's a reminder. The road just doesn't move people and freight. It moves predators, and sometimes it delivers them straight to you. Check your cab, then check it again, because once you're rolling, there's no pulling over from fear, and not everyone, hiding in the dark, wants a ride.